Miscarriage affects you in so many ways, and not everyone understands how isolating the experience and grief can be.
It's a really intense grief that people feel after they've experienced a miscarriage, so it's not an experience anyone is ever prepared for. People obviously deal with it in all different ways, so some people are very private, they don't want to talk to others about it, and that's fine. Other people do like to share their story, and some people like to share their story after the fact, so once they've kind of feel like they've healed and they're a bit stronger, then they're able to discuss it with people.
So if a patient is happy to talk to their nearest and dearest, they will often find a lot of support out there. The patient's got to have a little bit of open communication there, because sometimes family feel a little bit uncomfortable. They don't know what to say or how to say it.
It's so hard when everyone keeps saying to you, like, are you sure? And what does this mean? And you're like, yes, I'm sure. And I don't have the answer. I wish I had the answers, but I don't have them.
I learned that so many people were scared to say the wrong thing to me. So I asked the team at Virtus Health, what is the right thing to say to someone who's experienced miscarriage?
I think it's really important to just avoid platitudes, and really acknowledge that it's a real sadness. And even saying, look, I'm really not sure what to say, but, this is very sad. I think that goes a long way.
Understanding that it's a difficult situation for them, cutting them some slack, and not trivialising any of the reasons. I think all that person needs to hear is some recognition of what they're going through, some understanding and some TLC. But if they feel they don't want to involve immediate family, then our counsellors are a good place to start. And they can then put them in touch. We've got forums online, we've got patient support groups, we've got things patients can patch into, resources they can use.
The thing when people come to see a counsellor is they're not worried about my feelings. So when they're talking to their mum or their sister or their best friend, they can see their sadness as well. But I guess when people come into a counsellor, they can just say exactly how it is.
What I'm coming to really understand is that it's a very individual process. And
yeah, as I say, there's no one size fits all. Mm-hmm. But I think a lot of patients don't realize the magnitude of what the dream and the future and all that's attached to the embryo or that miscarriage or that child. And in their heads, that was the future. And so when that went away, that future went away. So it's a lot bigger loss than just, a mass of cells. It's a loss that other people can't see.
As a society, we don't have a process around dealing with miscarriage. So if you lose someone else in your life, there's a whole process. People expect you to be sad. They bring food, you have a funeral. There's a real ritual around that. Whereas miscarriage, it's really only the woman and her partner who have the connection.
The first 12 weeks of pregnancy really is an emotional and physical roller coaster. It's so strange there is an unwritten rule that doesn't allow you to share what you were going through.
There isn't a lot of information out there for early miscarriage, and that's, I think, where a lot of couples suffer in silence. You've connected with that pregnancy, you've bonded.
Yeah. And there's also this bizarre hierarchy of grief where it's like, well, it wasn't a real baby. It was...
No, correct. I think you're absolutely right. Yeah. And that's the awful thing. I think the grief is very real.
It almost felt like I was the one that was just going through the motions.
It's often seen as it's women's business, and so this is one of the problems and one of the issues where we need to bring this whole topic out for a more general discussion.
So how important is it for someone experiencing miscarriage or infertility to have a support network around them?
If we speak more about it, it'll be destigmatised like other aspects of healthcare have in the past.
I often say to my patients, if you would talk to someone, if you would tell your family or your friends if you had a miscarriage, then share this journey with them now so that they're able to be supportive if you do need them. The more we share and the more we're open about this, the easier it is.
It's about education and support and empathy. I think that's such a valuable lesson for us all, that we can actually support each other through challenges and come together more.
Strength in numbers, right?
If there's more awareness in the community, then people will feel more confident to talk about it, which will help with people's feelings of isolation and sadness.
Yeah, that makes sense. I discovered that it was okay to talk about miscarriage by simply starting to open up and talk about it. The more we feel safe to speak up, the more supported we feel.
It's really important for people to know there's no right or wrong way to do infertility and pregnancy loss. It's whatever works for you.